Here's my audience. Physician-assisted suicide is not one of the most talked about topics today. In this speech, I will be discussing Margaret John's story of how she would like a change in the law, what states are included in the law and the requirements needed to get the medication, what people should consider when taking sides, and about physician-assisted suicide. According to health research funding in the U.S., Oregon, Washington, and California have legalized the practice of physician-assisted suicide. And in 2013, Vermont declared that suicide with prescribed medications was a legal medical treatment. PSA differs from euthanasia, which is defined as the act of assisting people with their death in order to end their suffering, but without the backing of a controlling legal authority. According to Dignity in Dying, Margaret was diagnosed with stage 3 ovarian cancer. Her condition was treatable but not curable. She states, "I know that the time will come and there is no more effective treatment available, and the end may well be undignified and painful. I want to die in my own home, surrounded by my own things, and at a time when my children and grandchildren have been able to say goodbye." It is hard for people with a terminal illness to go through the pain and time it takes to treat but not cure an illness. Most people get weak and sick, which is extremely painful. According to CNN, physician-assisted suicide is only legal in 5 U.S. states. In Oregon, the physician must be a doctor of medicine or a doctor of osteopathy, licensed to practice medicine by the Board of Medical Examiners for the state of Oregon. The physician must also be willing to participate in the act. Here is a chart with the physician-assisted suicide, the blue, with the prescription recipients, so the people who were prescribed the drug, and then the gray is the physician-assisted suicide deaths. So the blue is a lot higher than the gray, and those are the years on the bottom. In Vermont, only a doctor of medicine or osteopathy licensed to practice medicine in Vermont may write the prescription, much similar to Oregon. In Washington, only a doctor of medicine or osteopathy may write the prescription. The prescription is entirely voluntary. Healthcare providers are not required to provide prescriptions or medications to qualified participants. In California, an individual seeking to obtain a prescription for an aid in dying drug shall submit 2 oral requests, a minimum of 15 days apart, and a written request to his or her attending physician. In Colorado, they allow an eligible terminally ill individual with a prognosis of 6 months or less to live to request and self-administer medical aid in dying medication in order to voluntarily end his or her life. In the District of Columbia, to obtain the medication, a patient shall make 2 oral requests separated by at least 15 days to an attending physician. Submit a written request signed and dated by the patient to the attending physician. Before the patient makes his or her second oral request, and at least 48 hours before a covered medication may be prescribed or diagnosed. Each state is different, but most require you to have a prescription from a licensed physician approved by the state in which the patient is a resident. Based on a recent study, 57% of physicians practicing today have received a request for a PAS in some form or another, according to End of Life. The patient must be in the right state of mind and undergo a medical evaluation to make sure they are able to be making the decision. Everyone has different thoughts about why physician-assisted suicide should be illegal or legal, but hopefully this speech helped notify you about why it should be legal. And here is my eye.